At the United Nations General Assembly this week, U.S. President Donald Trump delivered a striking speech on the Russia-Ukraine war, calling Moscow a paper tiger, expressing strong support for Kyiv's efforts to reclaim all territory lost since 2022, and highlighting his focus on energy politics. In this video, we explain how the Kremlin responded to Trump's remarks, why Russian officials mocked his comments with the phrase "paper bears don't exist" and called him a businessman, and what this latest exchange signals for the Ukraine conflict and U.S.-Russia diplomatic relations. Trump, speaking alongside Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, said he was impressed by Ukraine's resistance against Russia, praising Kyiv's fight as pretty amazing, and calling on Ukraine to act now to reclaim all occupied territories. He highlighted Russia's big economic problems and suggested that with EU support, Ukraine could restore its pre-2022 borders. Reacting to Trump's paper tiger remark, Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov dismissed the metaphor, saying that Russia is not a tiger but more associated with a bear, and quipping that paper bears don't exist. He also mocked Trump as a businessman focused on energy politics. Listen in.
Yesterday, U.S. President Donald Trump and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky met. Of course, President Trump heard Zelensky's version of events. And apparently at this point, this version is the reason for the assessment we heard. Russia is not a tiger. It is a bear. And there was no such thing as a paper bear. So Russia is a real bear. And Russian President Vladimir Putin has on many occasions and with different emotions described our bear. You can remember it. So, there is nothing here about being of paper. Russia maintains its resilience. Russia maintains macroeconomic stability. Yes, Russia is experiencing certain tensions and problem areas in various sectors of the economy, which are inevitably connected with the myriad of economic restrictions, sanctions, and so on that we face, and with the global economy in turmoil. The Russian president has repeatedly stated that we are moving forward, in military terms in Ukraine, very carefully to minimize losses. We are moving forward very carefully not to undermine our offensive potential. These are very deliberate actions. It is better to take more time than to rush and to try to coincide victories with some events and to increase the number of dead.
Analysts note that this rhetorical clash underscores the widening gap between Washington and Moscow over Ukraine. While Trump appears to favor a more aggressive stance for Kyiv and highlights energy leverage in his foreign policy, Russia is doubling down on its long-term strategy, dismissing criticisms and signaling its intent to continue the conflict. The debate over oil politics further complicates global perceptions, as Moscow accuses the U.S. of using energy as a geopolitical tool. In summary, Trump's UNGA speech combined support for Ukraine with pointed criticism of Russia's energy policies, prompting the Kremlin to respond with mockery and reaffirmation of its military goals. This exchange highlights the interplay between rhetoric, energy geopolitics, and the ongoing Ukraine conflict, while showing that U.S.-Russia diplomatic ties remain deeply strained. This is the Indian Express. Stay informed on the latest developments in Ukraine, global diplomacy, and energy geopolitics. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for timely updates and in-depth analysis of international affairs.